Hey, hi friends, welcome to today's video. So in this video we are going to build our home page. That means basically we are going to build the tab view which will have the multiple options to go into our Gita app. Okay, so in the last video what we did, we built our onboarding screen, and then if you see the code here, where is our main page. So based on the condition, I was going to content view or the onboarding view. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new folder here, and let's call this as home. Okay, and inside this, let's create some group fastly. Okay, so I have created 5 groups here: home view, about, saved, codes, and tab view. Okay, and inside each I'm going to create a new SwiftUI view. So let me quickly create it. Okay, so I created all my SwiftUI view, and this is basically going to be the home page, that is BG tab view. And now what I'm going to do, I'll go here and replace this content view with the BG tab view. Okay, and after that, here what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a tab view. Okay, so this tab view will be the simple tab view that we create in SwiftUI. So tab. Okay, and inside this we'll have all our view one by one. So home view. So let me quickly write all the code. So I've taken all my string here, the same I will copy paste it in the thing. Okay, so I have both my English and Hindi text ready. So let me go back to my tab view and complete this part. Okay, so we have added a tab view with home view, codes view, saved, and about. Now let it run, and this time I should see my tab view. Let me see what is the error I'm getting. Did I miss anything here? Looks good here, looks good here. Okay, this should be equals to. Okay, so it's building now. So this will work perfectly. We are going to see a tab view with all these items. But I'll tell you that if we just create a basic tab view, what's problem we're going to have. So if you see, it's going to say the same hello world because we are not changing the text anywhere right now. So what I'll do first, let's change the text here. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the problem that if you take tab view with this very simple approach is that, let me do one thing. Okay, so let's take a navigation link, and for taking the navigation link, the first thing what we have to do it is to inbuilt inside a navigation view. Okay, let's take this inside. Now inside navigation link you will have generally two things. One will be your text, so let's put the text as this only, and the other thing is your destination, where we want to go. So destination, I'm just going to again a simple text, let's say home destination. Okay, Now let's run this app again. So now if you see that, I see different option when we switch the tab. Now when you select on home destination, you go to or you navigate to a new page. Okay. Now if I go to, let's say, a different tab and again come back here, now what happens, even if you click it, let's say 2 or 3 times, then it is not switching back to the like the home page. Generally what I want that, okay, let's say that if I switch from this tab to this tab, like home tab, and again when I click it, it should navigate to the root page. Now that thing is not happening with this approach. Okay, so what we need to do for that, so for that we need to write some extra code in our tab view. Okay, so what we need to do basically that, first let's make this navigation little better. Okay, now how can we make it a little better is that we should introduce some sort of app state which takes care of complete navigation. Like if you see in the UI kit, we used to have navigation control, right? And we used to navigate from one screen to other screen. Now here also, like, we have navigation stack, we have navigation link, but what is the best approach to use them so that it is easily accessible, you can use it, reuse that particular component. So for that, what I'm going to do is that, first thing, that I'm going to define a new class here. Okay, and let's call this class as app state. Okay, and this will conform to observable object. Now what will be there in this app state? The first thing will be the selected tab, the which tab the user has selected. Right now if you see that, if I need to know that what is my current selected tab, it's difficult to know because I'm not maintaining any state. Okay, so what we can do is that define a value, enum. Okay, so I'll call this at bg view tab. Okay, let's say for example. Now what are all options that we are going to have? So we are going to have home, about, saved, and quotes. Okay, so all these things we need to define here. So home, then we have any order you can write, order and mean anything here. So case saved, and then case quotes. Okay, and now let's define the object of it. So @published where selected tab, which is going to be of type bg view tab, and the default value is going to be home, because whenever the user comes, he will always come to the home page. Okay, that's the first thing. Now we also have to maintain the down hierarchy. For example, it's that from the home, when I was going to this home destination, all these routes can be managed through one app state. Okay, so let's define some route. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's say that enum, and let's call as home nav destination, like what all possible destination that we can occur in this particular tab. Okay, so right now I'm just going to write let's say details. You can have many things based on whatever the scenario that you have, but you can, yeah, all those cases you are going to define it here. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste it 4 times because I have 4 tab here. So home nav, then I call it as about nav, then saved nav, and this quotes nav. Okay, again these options are going to be different. Okay, like these are not going to be the same for all the navigation, because obviously when you click on home, this navigation will go to different screens, right? But as we don't have anything, we don't know right now where we want to go, so I'm just keeping the same details everywhere. But don't confuse that, we have to keep it same in all the thing. Okay, now the next thing is that we need to create the object of these destination in the app state, so that app state can take you to a definite screen. So all your navigation will be managed through this app state. So here published var, I'll call this as home navigation, and this is going to be array of what, home navigation destination. Okay, so you can consider this like a navigation controller for home flow. So in the navigation controller you can have multiple view controls, right? So each this keys what you see will act like a view controller for this navigation controller. The same thing goes for a, just for not confusion, I'm just keeping it different so that you don't get confused with that, it's going to be same. Okay, and by default, because when you start your app, your navigation controller is not going to have any view controller, right? So the same thing goes here, that this navigation is not going to have any array, any item inside it. Okay, so paste it 4 times again. So home navigation, then the second one is about navigation, then we have saved navigation, and then you have quotes navigation. Okay, so this thing will also change. So this is about nav, this is save nav, and this is quotes nav. Okay, so now my app state is ready. Okay, now we have to do one more thing, is that we have to define a binding of our tab view with these state that we have created. Okay, so what I'm going to do in my this tab view class, I'm going to create a function called create tab binding. Okay, this is going to return a binding object of type bg view tab. Okay, okay, so this function is defined now. Now we have to, what is taking that, it's missing the instance matter to be expected a return type of binding bg type. Okay, so let's return this. So binding, and then the type is the bg type. Okay, so this is what we need to return. Okay, now whenever this is set, okay, there are two things, like either we need to take need to know about our current selected tab, or we need to set the current selected tab. Okay, so what we can do here is that we can write a get here, and then whenever we want to fetch it, what we have to do, we have to just take it from the app state. Okay, now till now we have not created the object of this app state, right? So what we have to do is that let's go here and define the object as a state object, app state. Okay, and initialize it here. Now this app state we need to save it in the environment object, so that I can access this throughout my view hierarchy, because everything whatever you are going to take it, or you are going to access it, will be accessed in any of this tab view hierarchy. Okay, so environment object and app state. Okay, now here we have to return app state dot selected tab. Okay, so whenever someone tries to get it, just return it. And the second thing is set it, that what happens when somebody tries to set it. Okay, so in that case you will get a variable called you can name anything, basically the selected tab, which tab you are going to select. Okay, now what we need to do is that first thing we need to check that if the selected tab is equals to your what do you call the current selected tab. For example, the see where is the problem that is happening. For example, if you go from here to this page, now when you select it, you want to actually return to the home page, right? That means that the tab you are selecting right now, see I'm selecting this home tab, and the value of the current selected tab both is home at this point of time. So that's why in that case only we need to write the condition to take the user back to the home, like the root page. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is if the selected tab is equals to app state dot selected tab. So if this becomes equals, then only we need to do any other thing. Apart from that, what we have to do, we have to do simple thing that app state dot selected tab is going to be the selected tab. Okay, the code is not very much complicated. So whenever the user is going to select any tab here, let's say that right now the selected tab is quotes. Okay, this is quotes tab. Sorry about this Hindi. This is quotes. You can see here. So when user selects any new tab, so either he can again keep tapping on quotes, or he can select any new tab like home tab. So if in any case we have to change the value of selected tab, right? So that's the reason that this line of code is outside this if condition, that whatever tab you select, we have to change the value of our selected tab which is there in the app state. But we have to perform some sort of logic when the current selected tab and the tab that user is trying to select are same, because in that case we have to move to the root view. Okay, so that's the reason we have this condition. Now here what we have to do, we have to write a simple switch statement to have all our cases. So switch selected tab, okay, and then the first case is going to be, let's say, home. So what we need to do is when the user select the home, with a simple animation we have to empty the home navigation. Okay, so that once you empty it, what's going to happen, that right now if you see that this app state, this home navigation, this is going to contain one child, that is because we have moved to home view, so it is going to remove that. Okay, so let me add all the remaining cases, and here just make sure that you put one extra condition, because this is not the, these are not the home page, these are not the first tab. So what I'm going to put one extra condition, that if app state dot saved navigation. Now if you see this not saved, this is going to be about navigation dot is empty. Okay, if it is not empty, we are going to perform the same thing here. Now let's say that if I put the same logic here also, the same condition, and yeah, that's look fine. This is going to be home, and this is going to be about, the same about here, and I'll change this to saved, and this also to saved. Okay, that if it is not empty, then I'm making that as empty. Okay, this part is now fine. Now we have to link this create tab with this one. Now okay, this is not going to be a private because we're using this object. Okay, so let's remove this private for a time being. I think this will also cry. Let me remove this as well. So now the error is gone. So next what we're going to do is that we'll bind this tab view with our create tab view binding. So what I'm going to do here, that we have this selection. So let's take this selection, and selection will come from where? It will come from create tab binding. Okay, because if you see that create tab binding is returning the binding state of this content we already have, so we don't need it again. Let's close this here. Now all this page also has to be tagged, right? So for example here I'll tag this to as for example bg TabView dot home. Okay, similarly copy this, paste it here, call this as codes, then this one as saved, and this one as about. Okay, so that's all the code that we need, but let's see that if something works, what the issue that we're facing, or still it's the same thing. So these tabs are working perfectly fine. It's changing the view, and when I select it here, nothing happens. And the reason for this is that the home view, the navigation that we are using right now, it is still not using the app state that we have created. Okay, so that means that we have to bind this with our app state. Now as the app state is already in the environment object, so we can easily access our object using the environment object. So where app state of type app state. Okay, now what we're going to do is, here in the case of navigation view, what I'm going to do is, let's remove this code and let's take a navigation stack. Okay, and the path is going to be the app state dot home navigation. Okay, and we're not going to have any root here. Let's delete it and then open and close it. Okay, any error? So it is telling that it is expecting of type something. So let's see that if we have missed anything. Okay, I think it has to be a bindable. Okay, so now here what I'm going to do is that same thing we can do, take a v stack here just for, and let's take a text, call this as a home view. Okay, and set some font as well, and then here we can take a navigation link. Now value will be home nav destination dot details. Okay, and we can remove this labels argument and just put here text open details. Okay, I'm not taking the localized string because anyway we are going to remove all this value. Okay, and then what we need to do is, in the when the v stack is ending, we have to here for navigation destination. Okay, so for home nav destination dot self. Okay, and again we can remove this body here and open and close this. Let me just format it a little bit. It's not okay. So here what we have to do, this will return you a parameter that is destination. Okay, and then you can write a simple switch case here. So we have just one case, so case details, and in this case we'll move to our details screen. Okay, that's all. Okay, Now let it run again. Not there can be multiple scenarios here. Like let's say that what if you want to pass some argument while doing this, that we'll see in the later videos that how we can handle that scenario. Okay, so let it build, and let's go to detail page, then see move to any other, let's say save, come back to home. See, we're still in the same detail, but if you click it again, see it is going back to your home screen. Okay, so that way how you can implement your tab view to have a better control over your movement, and again the with the help of this app state to better control your navigation within the hierarchy. Okay, we'll improve our navigation more in our coming videos based on our requirement. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Hope you have enjoyed it watching it. In the next few videos I'm going to build first the screens, like this about screen, because this is going to be a very simple thing, and then we're going to write our network layer and then make our API call to fetch the data and show it in our home page. So if you have not subscribed the channel and loving the video, then please do subscribe, and thanks for watching the video. Thank you.